What is going on, you guys? It is your boy, Roy. Welcome back to the podcast, friends. Today we have a fun episode. The title of this is Age is But a Number, or something along those lines. But I do have a talk for you guys talking about age and the factor it plays into your fitness, into weight loss, into your health, all of those things. But before we get into that, I actually want to share a story which will correlate all of these things together. Now, the story is actually, it's my story. For those of you who don't know, I just competed in the Festivus Games this last Saturday, and that is a CrossFit competition. And we actually had 11 total athletes go to this competition. And we had 7 of the 11 athletes get on the podium. It was amazing. It was fun. It was a very successful weekend for our rough family. I'm just so proud of everybody. And the Festivus Games, like I said, is a CrossFit competition. It's something that's hosted, gyms hosted all across the United States. It's a pretty big event. But my journey with the Festivus Games actually goes all the way back to, I don't remember the dates off the top of my head, but back when I was 19, 20 years old. So back in maybe 2014, I was in college. At the time, I was doing a lot of bodybuilding. I had just started rough. I was trying to bulk up from 125 pounds to 160 pounds. And I was just mainly doing lifts. Your bench press, your lat pull downs, pull-ups, squats, leg extensions, like your typical bodybuilder program, right? And I always joke, on the topic of CrossFit versus bodybuilding. I did bodybuilding for a long time, and I have a lot of appreciation for it. I even stepped on stage and did a bodybuilding show, a physique show once, which I absolutely loved. But now that I do a lot of CrossFit training, I always say that the muscle I had from bodybuilding, I call it good for nothing muscle. It's the best way I could put it. Bodybuilding is very aesthetically pleasing. You're building your biceps, you're building your back, you're molding your body how you want it to look. But man, I was not as functional as I could be, which is the point of CrossFit. They could not be further from each other. CrossFit's all about moving your body efficiently, moving it well in space and time, being able to move objects, like all efficiency, right? So anyways, I'm training pretty hard in bodybuilding, trying to bulk up, put on some size, and I was pretty far into that journey, a few years at this point. And I remember going home. So I went to LSU for college. It's about an hour and a half away from where I grew up. So I went home to visit my family. My dad was super excited because he had just joined a CrossFit gym. And just like anybody, when they join something, they're like, got to tell the whole world about it. He was excited. He wanted me to come do a class with him. So went to the gym with him when I was home. And I remember I don't remember what we did for the workout, but I remember doing the workout. After the workout, I was, climbing the rope, doing backflip burpees, doing some muscle ups and stuff. And the owner came to me. He was like, dude, you're pretty good at this stuff. And I was like, thanks. He said, you should do a competition. And I was like, okay, like that sounds fun. When is it? And he said, it's this weekend. So like I had maybe 7 days before the competition when it happened. Now, mind you, never have I done CrossFit before that day. And we signed me up for this competition. I went back to school, came back a week later, time for competition. And this competition, funny enough, was the Festivus Games. So very, very cool that was the very first competition I ever did. And, I got my chip on my shoulder. I was going to class. I was doing all these things like CrossFit's easy, all this stuff. And there's 2 very vivid memories I have. I guess maybe 3. No, 2. 2 vivid memories. One was getting to the workouts. And essentially, during the warm-up section, the setup section, and even when they said go, me being like, looking at my judge and being like, I don't know how to do this. Like, how do I do this movement? And they're literally like right before the workout starts showing me how to do these movements. And so that was embarrassing. The second thing I remember too is they had kettlebell swings in that workout. And I remember, because I'd never done kettlebell swings, I've seen people do it, I'm like, how hard could it be? And I remember going to grab that kettlebell and I picked it up and I couldn't even like get it to swing. I was like, holy crap, that's heavy. So I like mustered up my whole body into it, used my hips, threw that kettlebell up over my head, and I fell over backwards. Like it literally went behind my head and I fell over. And I remember because at a competition, you got everybody around you, everybody's watching. It was so embarrassing. Needless to say, I got very humbled that day, and I got dead last. Which, if you know me and my competitiveness, that's just not going to fly, right? I can't be in last place. So 6 months go by, and I still don't join a CrossFit gym, but I start tweaking my training to start doing some of these movements like cleans, snatches, a little bit more cardio, rowing, things like that. And 6 months later, there was another Festivus Games. And so I signed up for it, went back to that same gym, and did another Festivus Games competition. And I remember feeling so much more prepared and so much more like I knew what I needed to be doing and things like that because I knew the workouts ahead of time. I was practicing them, things like that. And I was so proud of myself because my very first Festivus Games, I got dead last. 6 months later, did my own training, my own protocol for this, and I ended up tying for first place. So a big turnaround there. I ended up losing the tiebreaker. I remember the tiebreaker was how many there was. I remember this. There was running in that workout. There was a floater wad, and it was 2 minutes of max back squats. I think it was a 225 pounds. How many back squats can you do in 2 minutes? And the guy who I tied with had done more back squats, so I ended up getting second place in that Festivus Games, which to me I was super excited about. Just a few reps shy of first place. So I was happy with that. Went back to my bodybuilding, whatever. Did bodybuilding for a long time. Right before I moved to Colorado, got back into doing CrossFit. Actually joined a CrossFit gym probably 6-ish months before I moved to Colorado. I hurt my back really bad because, again, didn't have a mentor, didn't have a coach, didn't have a trainer. Was doing stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing, and I hurt myself. I think CrossFit gets a bad rap that there's a lot of injuries, and I will admit that, CrossFit, with all the movements you're learning and doing, are there going to be more injuries? Absolutely. When you're challenging yourself, you're getting yourself out of your comfort zone, those things, you're going to tweak yourself. Heck, I know people who bend over to pick up a cat or a box and tweak their back, right? Like things are going to happen. But typically when somebody is getting hurt, it's because they're doing something that they shouldn't have been doing. Like you had bad form, you weren't resting enough, like getting enough sleep, your nutrition's off. You have, did I say bad form? You're ego lifting, you're lifting heavier, pushing yourself further than you should be. Like those were the things that I was doing. And so that's a whole nother talk for another day. So ended up hurting my back, said I would never do CrossFit ever again. Went back to bodybuilding again. This is when I ended up moving to Colorado. I'm just going through this timeline. I promise this is all going to come full circle. I moved to Colorado when I was 20, let's see, graduated 18, so 6 years. So when I was 25, 26-ish, I moved to Colorado. And I had, at this point, I mixed things here and there. I coached gymnastics. I did some CrossFit. I played flag football, like all these different things. But for the most part, in those 6 years, I bodybuilt. That's what I did. But I never competed. So when I moved to Colorado, I said, I'm not going to cut my beard or cut my hair until I compete. Like, I just need to do it. So I found a coach. He got me on a nutrition protocol. He got me on a workout plan. And I literally embraced the mountain man when I moved to Colorado. My beard, my hair, I had Justin Bieber hair, like probably longer than Justin Bieber hair. My beard was so long, it was gross, untamed, untrimmed. I had never had a beard before. It was something, man. It was something. Maybe I'll put a picture right here if I can find it, and you guys can see what I looked like. It was great. I'll show you the after of what I looked after I cut my hair and I stepped on stage for my bodybuilding show. I'll put that right here. So that was fun. I ended up doing the bodybuilding show finally. I got down to like 6% body fat. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And then we can fast forward. I got to a point after that show. I kind of lost my way with my fitness. I really kind of dedicated my life to rough and building, what we have today. And I was like, at this point, I was just kind of like, hey, if I can shift my mindset from focusing on fitness to instead focusing on the business, think about what I could accomplish. So anyways, kind of gave up on fitness for a while, trying to build this business, do these things. I didn't give up. Like I still worked out probably more than most people. It just wasn't my primary focus. And then 2 years ago, working on 3 years ago, um, I had some members that joined, and we had the idea of doing a CrossFit competition. And we signed up 9 people to do a competition, 3 teams of 3. So I had 2 of my buddies doing the competition with me. And sure enough, it's the Festivus Games, teams of 3, man. So me and these 2 guys, we're training, we're doing the thing. We go do Festivus, and we get 3rd place. So again, a pretty good accomplishment. I wasn't upset about that by any means, and felt good. And so again, I'm still just kind of doing my thing with fitness, and maybe at this point, it's probably about a year and a half ago, I really was having a hard time. I had just turned 30, and I was so stoked. When I turned 30, I was like, the 30s are when I'm going to make it, right? I spent my entire 20s sacrificing. I didn't, party as much as all my friends. I wasn't in a serious relationship for most of my 20s. I dedicated myself to fitness and building this business. And I'm like, it's like, this is going to be my time. Like, this is when we're going to crush it. I feel like I'd figured out so many things, and getting into, if you guys listen to episode 100, it's the thin gold line. I'm wearing my thin gold band right now. I never take it off. And it kind of goes into that, but essentially, I turned 30, and year 30 was the worst year of my life. Honestly, I think it's up there. If you guys listen to the first 4 episodes, I think one of the other darkest times in my life was when I first got to college. It's comparable to that. It was just, I felt like my whole life was falling apart. I was borderline depressed. I just didn't know I was ready to give up. I was ready to sell the business, so on and so forth. And I kind of pulled myself out of that. Again, go back, listen to episode 100. I kind of share that story. But 2 things that always kind of pull me out of that darkness was always my faith, leaning on God, and fitness. Those were the 2 things that always, the foundation. That's why I'm so big on, if you want to improve your life, I truly believe fitness, the things you need to do through building muscle, burning fat, being disciplined with your nutrition, all those things correlates to all aspects of your life. So I kind of doubled down on those things, pulled myself out of it, got in the right mindset, started working on the business again, doing what I love. And through that, I started focusing on my fitness again and setting goals for myself, started surrounding myself with the right people. Everything that I preach to you guys, I started putting into place. And so I got a training partner to start working out with. And this was maybe 6-7 months ago. So started pulling myself out the hole, started training, started working out, started taking all these things a little bit more serious. And it gave me purpose, right? I think purpose is a big thing. It's very important, knowing the direction that you're going. And a few months after that, I had one of my members that was really showing potential into wanting to compete and wanting to be competitive. And I was like, listen, let's just change up our schedule so we can start training together. We can start doing this thing. And watching her grow and watching her progress so quickly has given me life in coaching, right? It really has. It's been a new type of training that I've been writing workouts and nutrition and stuff from the typical, and there's nothing wrong with it, but from the typical, I just want to lose weight. Somebody who their goal is not to lose weight. It's I want to be competitive. I want to put on muscle. Reminds me so much of myself. And it's cool to be able to train, because seeing her progress and wanting to get better is pushing me to be better. And you can kind of see how we feed off of each other. And again, there's a lot of all these little nuggets in here that hopefully you're picking up. It's who you surround yourself with is so, so, so important. And since then, we've actually added one more person to that little group with me, my coach, and another guy now that we've had. So there's 4 of us that are really trying to train and push ourselves and try to get to that next level and beat each other, right? I'm very big on competition. If they beat me, it's going to make me better. If I beat them, it's going to make them better, and kind of having that repeating cycle there. And so we ended up signing up for CrossFit competition, because that's kind of our goal. We want to compete. We want to do well. We want to win. We signed up for a comp in January, and me and my training partner, we did it as a team together, and we ended up placing 2nd place in that one. We were just a couple points away from 1st place, man. So, it's starting to eat at me at this point, right? I've never won the Festivus Games. I've never won a CrossFit competition. I got 3rd place at this last competition I did as a team. Now I'm getting 2nd place, and I'm starting to get this fire in me. Remember, back to my very first competition, I don't like losing, man. And I always say that when I lose, it lights that fire a lot more than when I win. And so I'm like, I've been working hard. I've been competitive. I mean, we were super happy with our results. Like, I'm not saying I wasn't proud of myself, but it's just, again, there's something about it that should just light that fire. If I know if we would have fixed this, or we would train this, or if I would have done this better, maybe we could have won. So again, we're pushing even harder now. Then the CrossFit Open comes out. Did a podcast with my wife, kind of talked about that. You can go back and listen to that. It's Nuggies and Wine episode 2. But essentially, the first workout went okay. The second workout, I did so freaking good. I was like at the top 5,000 in the world. And I was like, oh my God, like I've never done so good at the CrossFit Open ever in my life. And then I get to the third workout and everything falls apart because I'm not good at rowing, right? So all my weaknesses started to show up. And so that lit another fire into me. I'm like, next year for the Open, I'm putting this out there right now. Like I already know that I'm going to do better than I ever have before, but I'm putting out there like, I don't know what I'm putting out there, but I plan to like freaking crush the CrossFit Open next year. So anyways, we got even more fuel added to the fire, right? And so like we are grinding. And so here's where it comes full circle. We have signed up for another competition, which was this last weekend, which was the Festivus Games. And I decided this time to not do it with a team. I decided to do it solo. And I went in there on a mission of I've got something to prove. I'm tired of second place. I'm tired of third place. I'm tired of coming up short. Like, do what I need to do, prepare the way I need to prepare, and freaking win this thing, man. Because the way the Festivus Games works is that it's truly made for beginners. And so once you win the Festivus Games, you're not technically supposed to do it again because, again, you give the opportunity to the new people coming up that are getting into it. So given that I've never won the Festivus Games, I'm like, I need to do this so I can check it off my bucket list and I can just be done with this and move on to hopefully bigger competitions, which is my plan. And so we're training, and I feel the frickin' pressure, man, because I've been to 3 Festivus Games. We've been training for the last 6-7 months. I know what I'm capable of. I know that I can win. It's almost like when you go to a competition and you don't know what to expect. It's like, okay, if I get first, great. If I get last, whatever. Like, you don't know what to expect. But when you know you should and can win, it's like another level of pressure of like anything other than first just isn't good enough. There's no excuse, okay, that people are going to accept. There's no, oh, I got hurt or I had a bad workout. Or it's like either you win, either you show up or you don't. Pressure's on. And so we get to the Festivus Games and I went out there and I did what I planned to do. I won there was technically 4 workouts, but it got split up into 5 because one workout had 2 parts. I technically won 4 out of the 5 workouts, got first place. And then there was one workout that it was a rowing workout. I was like, I just want to not get last place. Ended up getting second place in that workout. So again, I couldn't have been happier. I got first place at the Festivus Games. I checked that off my bucket list. And funny story, my training partner, she said, hey, are you going to hang up you probably hanging up that first place medal in your office or at home or something? I said, nah. She goes, why not? I said, one, I don't have an office at my house. But if I ever did hang up a medal in my office, it would be my second place state championship medal from wrestling in high school. And she's like, what? I'm like, because that is a constant reminder of getting second place, how I felt, and never being able to redeem myself. I can never go back to being 18 years old and I can't redeem myself for that. And I never want to be in a situation where I show up to a competition and I come up so short and I can't like, oh, next year I'm going to get it, right? Can't do that. And so it's always fuel to the fire looking at that. Like, these first place medals are great, but it's always the second places, the third places, the last places that I know motivate me and push me. So I'm always want to remind myself of those things of you never want to feel that way. I get reminded of my hardest times to always want to move forward. So although I'm super excited, I'm always proud. Like my wife always says, I'm so hard on myself. Like I am proud of myself that I got first place. But sweet, I was happy for 2 seconds, knocked it off. Let's move on to bigger, better things. Because I don't want to be like, oh, I got first place and now I'm done. And then I stop pushing myself because I felt the best. The last 8 months or so, I have felt the best I've ever felt, or that I felt in a long time, because I have purpose, because I'm pushing myself, because I'm challenging myself, I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm doing hard things even when I don't feel like doing them. And I don't want to lose that. Right? So what does this have to do with age? Age is but a number, right? I told you this would all come full circle. What's interesting is that when I was 19 years old, 20 years old, when I was 28, 29 years old, never able to win the Festivus Games. 31 years old, and I finally win it. Over, even in my later 20s, I'm noticing that I'm lifting heavier than I ever have. I'm faster than I ever have. I'm getting better at rowing, even my shortcomings. I did better this year at 31 years old at the CrossFit Open than I ever have ever in my life. And I remember being in my 20s, my early 20s, and having my mom and dad's friends being like, and other people I work with being like, oh, just wait till you're 30, or just wait till you're 40, or just wait till you're my age. And what's interesting is that I'm never going to catch up to the people who are older than me. You're always going to be older than me. And people say, just wait, just wait. So I want to talk about that. Because I coach a lot of people who are in their 30s, late 30s, 40s, 50s, even their 60s. And I was always ready to get to my 30s just so I could prove everybody wrong. I am in better shape today at 31 years old when you look at physical fitness of being able to run, lift, move my body, PRs for my squats, my clean and jerks, all of it. When you talk about overall fitness, I am consistently beating my PRs from when I was in my 20s. And people said, just wait till you're 30. Oh, your body's going to do this, do that. And people consistently blame their age onto why they're not as healthy as they should be. I'm not saying that you have to be in the best shape of your life in your 30s or 40s. I'm just saying it's not an excuse to not be healthy. Your age is not the reason why you're overweight, obese. Your age is not the reason why you have diabetes. Your age is not the reason for these things. What I'm realizing, the more that I go through life and experience these things as well, is that a lot of these things that people are struggling with is because you stopped doing the fitness. You stopped working out when you got to college, when you got into the real world, you got a big boy job, when you got married, when you have kids. You started saying other things are more important, and it didn't matter. I have a very strong, and this isn't for everybody, but I do see this happen a lot in relationships, is that when you're looking for a partner and you're single, it is more important, at least it feels that way, to look a certain way, to attract a mate. But once you settle down, you're in a long-term relationship, you're not going anywhere, it's almost like you don't need to impress the person you're with, and you start to let yourself go, because what's the point? It's very interesting that here in America, how we work out to look a certain way, not to feel a certain way. And that's really hard, especially for me as a coach, because I got a lot of people who, they just want to lose weight. They don't care if they're, a lot of people, it's like, they don't even care if they're healthier. They don't even care if, all these other things. They're just like, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, because you want to look a certain way. You want the confidence, which, again, there's nothing wrong with that. But in other parts of the world, like, fitness is like, it's health, it's longevity, and it's just not that way here in the United States. And it's just, that's so interesting to me. And so when, again, I see this a lot. It's, again, not everybody, but I see for a lot of people, when you get into a relationship, even before you have kids, you start to let yourself go, because now you don't need to be aesthetically pleasing to attract them. You already locked them down. They're stuck with you, right? And again, I think that's very wrong, especially, I guess, for both men and women. I'll just say it. Like, you should still want to show up and look your best for your partner. They married you. Like, you owe it to them. It's not about, because before it was selfish. I want to do this to attract this person. But now almost, if you want to put it on other people, it's almost that you need to do this for them because they married you, and you should still look the part. You should, and again, even if it's not looking a certain way, and we talk about intimacy and stuff, I'm getting off the topic here, but I think it's important that even just for just showing up for them, I don't know, I think about just men in general, like, you need to be able to protect your family. You need to look the part. I saw a statistic the other day that, God, I'm getting so off topic, but I just think this is so important. I hope the men, whether you're single or married, you hear this, that you should be able to do hard things. You should be able to protect your family. You should be showing up as the leader of your household. And there was a statistic or a video that I saw or something that said that when you have pedophiles that try to kidnap kids and traffic kids, who do they go after? It's like when the father's not present, or the father looks weak, or the father looks like he can't protect his family. Like, you need to work out. You need to be able to protect your family. You need to look that part. It's part of our biology as men. So anyways, getting off topic. That just needed to be said. I don't know where that came from. And just for your health all around, you guys, and being there for your family and being there long term. I just think is so important. So anyways, let's talk about age. I don't think age is the reason why you're overweight. I think you got lazy, and age is making it harder to get back in shape. And so going through my 20s and now being in my 30s, I'm trying to relate to how it felt, because when I was in my early 20s, I was doing bodybuilding. I was working out 2 hours a day some days. And I was, for the words I use, I was beating up my body a lot, right? Because you got to challenge your body, you got to put stress on it, you got to beat it up to get it to grow. It's hard to do. And I feel like I'm back in that right now. Like, I'm training very similarly as far as intensity goes as I was when I was in my early 20s. And I'm going to break down the differences right now for you, especially now that I'm in my early 30s and I'm training with somebody who's in their early 20s and what I see with them, okay? So I will say this. I have to now at 30 years old be so much more diligent with my sleep, my recovery, my physical therapy and stretching and mobility, and my nutrition than I needed to be in my 20s. I will admit that. I will admit that I'm a lot more sore on a consistent basis than I was when I was in my 20s. I feel like me and my training buddy, we do the same workouts every week, and I come in, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I got run over by a train. And she's like, really? I don't feel that bad. Like, she's ready to go. But again, we both still show up. We both still work out. We both still do the thing, right? Like, me being sore does not inhibit me from doing the workouts. It does not inhibit me from hitting PRs. It does not inhibit me from, honestly, still being competitive and winning competitions. But again, it just means I got to be more diligent. Knowing what I know now, if I ate and drank and slept the way I did in my early 20s while I was training, now I would be broken. It would not work. And actually, to be honest, in my late 20s, I tried that. I tried just like going and just training really, really hard, 2 hours a day, doing the thing, and it never worked. Like, my knees started hurting, my back started hurting, this started hurting, and I just couldn't, like, it just felt like every time I pushed myself really hard, something happened that derailed me. And everybody kept telling me, it's because you're getting older, it's because you're getting older, it's because you're getting older. But here's the truth. My knees hurt. But they also hurt when I remember being 16 years old and not being allowed to play football because I had tendonitis in my knees. Wasn't age back then. I just had bad knees, right? Like, they hurt sometimes. I need to take care of them, right? I hurt my lat, and I thought it was my shoulder. And people were like, that's because you're getting old. No, I've just been doing my shoulder in a weird position. We're learning that with my PT, fixing it, and my shoulder feels so much better. Again, in my 20s, I might have hurt my lat or my shoulder and then been able to muscle through it and been fine in a week. But it doesn't mean that I fixed the issue with my shoulder or my lat. It's probably still there. I just am 20. I just don't feel it, right? You're just feeling the things more. And so what's interesting is thinking back on it now, knowing what I know now and how important I'm doing my sleep and my nutrition, especially those two things, and going to see my physical therapist and keeping my body healthy. If I would have done those three things back in my early 20s, I wonder how much better I would have been. Because you just see results really fast in your 20s. Like, it's easy to do. You do very little effort, a lot of results. Now it takes like a lot of effort for the same amount of results. And so I guess my point to this talk is that for all ages, even in my 20s, I could have been better if I would have taken my sleep, my recovery, my nutrition more serious. Could have done so much better. It's not that I wasn't serious about it. It's just I didn't know. I was very serious, but I just didn't know what I know now. I wish I would have gotten a coach, a trainer, somebody who knew what they were doing to guide me. I don't like to predict what my 40s are going to look like, but I feel like it's going to be more of the same. And obviously age becomes a factor. I don't foresee myself hitting PRs up into my 40s and 50s. But I don't think it's going to be a reason like, oh, all of a sudden I'm 40 and I'm not physically able. I guess like I'm not going to not be able to do squats. I'm not going to be able to not go for a run or a bike ride or be able to move my body to keep up with my kids to like again, I see people and it's just like they literally it's so hard for them to get back into it and they say it's because I'm old and I don't believe that. And I think if you can change your mindset and realize it's not because I'm old, it just means whatever I did when I was 20 to lose weight isn't going to be what works now. Whatever I did in my 20s to get in shape isn't going to be what works best, because just because you did it when you were 20 doesn't mean it was the right thing to do. And I think that's the part of the talk that I'm trying to get to you guys is that once you get to your 30s, once you get to your 40s, once you get to your 50s, it just means you got to be more dialed in. If you are going to start training, you are going to start working out, especially if you have age and you're overweight, or your age and you have a thyroid issue, your age and you're overweight and you have diabetes. The more things you stack on top, the more diligent you need to be, the more sacrifices you're going to make, the less flexibility you're going to have. You're not going to be able to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning, wake up at 6, and you got a glass of wine last night and expect to go to the gym and get the results you want just because you're working out. That might have worked when you were 20, but it's not going to work now. And I think that's the part we're missing, right? Like, oh, it's too hard, I'm too old, I can't lose weight. But it's not because you're too old, it's just because you're doing the wrong things and you need to be more diligent. And sometimes that means having bigger sacrifices, and a lot of people struggle with that aspect of I got to go to bed sooner. I got to actually track my food. I got to stay away from the junk food. These little things that you probably could have gotten away with in your 20s. That's what changes. Okay? It doesn't mean that the healthy food or what you need to be doing has changed. You would have gotten great results. If you did the right thing, it'll probably work at all ages, maybe small tweaks. The issue is that you stopped doing the thing. And now it's harder to get back into it and that you're older. But again, and this is what I see for a lot of people, is that you did a diet when you were 25 years old and you lost 10, 15, 20 pounds, you got in a really great shape. And now you're 35, 40, 45 years old and you want to go back to doing that diet you were when you were 25. And it wasn't the diet necessarily that worked or was the best or was the healthiest. It was just the fact that you were 25 and your body responds a lot easier. Your hormones are still fresh, your metabolism will respond quicker, like all these things will happen faster. But again, age, you are more capable than you know. You just got to be more diligent. You got to play smarter, not harder a lot of the time. And that's what I'm realizing as I get older. So yes, there is some truth to just wait till you're 30 or just wait till you're 40 or just wait till you're 50. You'll get it. Because I am getting it, especially training with somebody who's 23 years old. I'm like, how are you not sore from that workout yesterday? But again, being able to do what I'm able to do in my 30s is a testament to me not falling off and doing this consistently, literally my whole life. And so I don't know who this needs to reach right now, but one, you're not too far gone. The best day to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is today. If you haven't been fit your whole life, you did have kids, you did get into a relationship, you did get a big boy job or college, whatever that moment was where you stopped prioritizing your health and wellness, it's okay. Just get back on today, take small steps, be smarter, not harder. It's not about going to the gym and going a million miles per hour. It's about getting good sleep, prioritizing your nutrition, and then slowly getting your body adapted to working out again. That's the order in which you should do things. And most people do it backwards. They don't prioritize their sleep. They think they know what they're doing with their nutrition. They just cut their calories a bunch, but they have no idea what they're doing. It's actually doing more harm than good. And they want to go to the gym for an hour every single day, and it destroys your body. Again, the best piece of advice I can give to every single person who's listening to this, and what I wish I had when I was 21 years old, is a coach and a mentor to show me how to work smarter, not harder, and how to do the right things. Because when I was in my 20s, I had a chip on my shoulder. I felt like, oh, I knew everything. And looking back on it, I'm like, oh, that guy was an idiot. I wish I had a trainer or a coach just shake me, show me how to do, because I would have gotten results so much better. And I just think being back when I was 24, if I truly had a coach and a mentor to teach me, I think I could have potentially gone to the CrossFit Games. Like, I really think that if I dedicated my training and doing it the right way and knowing what to do back when I was 25, 5 years later of work, I think I could have been competitive, man. That ship has sailed at this point simply because I just don't think I want to take the time to do that, which is, again, a realization that you guys need to have of what your real goals are. I love my life. I love my family. I love my business and training the people the way I train them. I don't think I have a desire at this point in my life to train that hard. But it would be cool to train somebody that hard to get them to do the things that I didn't do, right? That's what I love doing. I love mentoring people. So I hope that this, I don't know. I think that the point of this was to prove a lot of people wrong, because I just love doing that. People tell me how it is, and I'm like, no, it's not that way, and proving people wrong. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I hope that this puts some things in perspective of what's possible for you. Okay, we had people in their 40s, we had people in their 50s doing the Festivus Games. People came up to me, they're like, Roy, I don't know if I can do the Festivus Games. Like, I can't do a competition. And they've been training with me for 5 years. I'm like, you can do this. They went and did the competition. They're like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Like, we crushed it. I'm like, yes. Like, I don't care if you're 30, 40, 50, 6 years old. You are capable of more than you know. You just have to get the right support system around you, the right team, the right coach to guide you, and then you have to be disciplined and dedicated to actually make the right changes and make the sacrifices necessary. And I hope that's what you kind of got out of this is like, okay, let me start playing smarter, not harder. Let me start playing the long game. It's not about killing my body all in 1 week, try to lose as much weight as possible. It's, I'm going to be doing this for the next 30, 40, 50 years. Like, let's just start with fixing nutrition. Let's just start sleeping better. Let's just start going for walks. Like, let's just play the long game and just being a more active me. Cool. I hope that makes sense. Thanks for coming to my talk, you guys. I appreciate you. Just remember, we don't pray for an easy life. We earn a rough one. Y'all keep earning those cookies, and I'll see y'all next episode.